Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing something new. This series is going to be called Rainbow Road to Ranked. The concept of this challenge is that every video I can only use teams consisting of one colour. The colour listing based on the pokedex on bulbapedia is the reference point that I'll be using. So in this video I'll be using red Pokemon, the next will likely be blue, and so on. Again, I'll be using bulbapedia, and so anything that seems a little bit off, you can always blame bulbapedia or Nintendo. It's weird because some Pokemon will appear orange, but the Pokedex will list them as red. Others will still be orange, but will list them as brown. So it's a little bit inconsistent. That's why I'm using the official list. I'd already tried to record a video before this, but I'd actually forgotten to click record, which is why you'll see my points. Okay, so the first member of my team is Scolipede. This is my hazard setter of the game. So it has Spikes, Toxic Spikes, Endeavour, and Infestation. It's pretty self-explanatory. I think Spike is more important than Toxic Spike due to the prevalence of flying types, steel types, and poison types. Spike is really good for breaking sashes and just getting that overall chip. Endeavour is there to weaken some walls that decide to hit with weak attacks. And Infestation is there just to trap a useless Pokemon in while I spike up. Next member of my team is Mega Charizard Y. This is my special attacker of the game. It has Flame Charge, Flamethrower, Air Slash, and HP Ground. Flame Charge is there just to break sashes, get that bit of chip. It's sun boosted, so it's not extremely weak. And after 2 Flame Charges, I'm able to outspeed Scarf Kartana. So in the late game, it could be very handy. Next member of my team is my physical sweeper of the game. So this is a very standard choice Scarf Diamondite. It has Flare Blitz, U-Turn, Rock Slide, and Earthquake. Most of my EVs are dumped into speed and attack, with just that little bit extra on HP, just so I can get those clutch 1% lives. So the role in this is to break down some physically weaker Pokemon, such as Chansey or Clefable. I'm pretty sure 2 hit KOs Clefable unless it's got a couple of cosmic power boosts under its belt. The next Pokemon on my team is Paragon 2. This is my physical wall. It has Recover, very reliable recovery. It has Foul Play. Foul Play is good for choice banded Pokemon or Mega Pinsir. After a Sword Stance and while there are Spikes damage, Foul Play does take out Mega Pinsir, which is pretty sweet. Because you are slower, they're often got a Sword Stance in your face. It's not too bad. I've gone for the Bolt Beam coverage, the weaker version. I've got Charge Beam and Ice Beam. Charge Beam is fairly consistent in giving you the boosts, but I may change that to Discharge as and when I need to. Okay, the next member of my team is Scrafty. This is my specially defensive Pokemon of the team. I wouldn't call it a wall because it doesn't have very reliable recovery, but the set I've got for this one is Bulk Up. Payback, because I'm using Bulk Up and not Dragon Dance, Payback will almost always be 100 base power, which is pretty sweet. Got Drain Punch for recovery. After a couple of bulk ups, even resisted hits will give me some nice HP back. And I've got Dragon Tail as my final move for some hazing and phasing. It's also good for getting extra spike and toxic spike damage. And the final member of my team is Talonflame. Now, Talonflame may have been nerfed, but so long as it's at 4 HP, I'm able to get a nice priority, +1 priority Supersonic Sky Strike off of Brave Bird. So as you can see, I've also got Flare Blitz, Me First, which probably should be Defog, but at the moment I'm rocking Me First just to see kind of how much fun I can have with that. And Will-O-Wisp is there to weaken bulkier physical threats that would threaten the rest of my team otherwise. So I've got all of my EVs in attack and speed. Okay, so I've recorded this live, but for some reason the microphone wasn't on. So this is post commentary, so excuse me if there's any inconsistencies or spoilers. This team here is a little bit formidable. I think my thought process is how to work around the Sableye lead. So normally I'd lead with Scolipede, but I don't want him reflecting back the spikes or toxic spikes. Talonflame would be good to get some early damage, but I think the safest lead would probably be Diamondite. So I can give myself a nice Flare Blitz. Flare Blitz damage is, well, you'll probably be able to 2-hit KO Steven there. Steven the Sableye. Ignore the 3, that is just my, I think that's my hotkey to record without having to go into OBS. But he's making his mind up. He's probably going to go, yeah, he goes into Leron now, which is very bulky, clearly overloads. Weighing up my options, obviously I'm choice, so I can't go for Earthquake. I'm just kind of deliberating what I need Diamanitan for. So really the only thing I'd really need it for would be Superior, and what I can do is use Charizard or Talonflame, and even Scrafty should be able to take a hit or two. So I think what I do here is, I think I'm going to opt to Flare Blitz again. This was recorded about 2 hours ago, so my memory is a bit hazy. So he gets up his rocks, which is a real pain in my ass because that means Talonflame doesn't have the priority nuke. And because I'm an idiot, I don't have any defog or rapid spin supports. But yeah, I'm going to check him out. He comes out with Archeops. I'm Scarfed here, so I'm thinking just to Flare Blitz and get him into range, but he does reveal that he is indeed Scarfed as well, which is unfortunate. Talonflame here. Because he is choiced into Earthquake, I'm going to go for Will-O-Wisp. Catch anything that wants to take a free burn to the face, but I do miss, which is unfortunate, but I should be able to take out, well, maybe 75% of his health if I'm not mistaken. Ooh, 75, 76, not too bad. Ice Beam is able to take me up, and he has leftovers. I'm going to use this opportunity to set up some Toxic Spike. I think at this point I just go for one load of Toxic Spike. It's nice and free, Sableye hasn't Mega Evolved yet, and this is an issue. I think my thought process here was... how am I going to get rid of the substitute? Obviously, residual damage is to the Pokemon itself, not to the substitute. But once the substitute's up, the residual damage effect doesn't add on to it. It's kind of like having Shield Dust, I suppose. So I'm going to go for another Spike here. I'm going to go for a Spike rather. As he goes to the Roost, I think Spike is probably my next best choice. Just to catch anything on the switch, everything apart from Archeops. So he does go for Ice Beam, brings me down low. Now I'm thinking to myself, I didn't know if Endeavour makes the substitute itself weaker, or just applies to the Pokemon directly. And since it applies to the Pokemon directly, maybe to break this up, which is actually brilliant. So my switch in here is Scrafty. So I'm going to go for Bulk Up because I know that I'm quite especially defensive. And I think he's probably going to go for Ice Beam again. I goes for Earth Power, which doesn't really do too much, 25%. So I think I'm going to go for another Bulk Up here. Actually no, I'm just going to go for Drain Punch, get myself some HP back, bring it down low. I think it would have been better at the time to go for another Bulk Up, but the Ice Beam did 32%. So I still would have been able to take it, but I would have been able to take it out next turn. And it would have been easier for me to tank the Archeops hit if needed be. So I'm going to take out Kyurem. I think I went to the Dragon Tail there just in case I wanted to switch to preserve it. And it would have died on switching back to the spikes. So it goes into Superior here, it's poison, takes some spike damage. I think the Leaf Storm is obvious, so I mean I'm at +1, so I'm thinking that I'll be able to do a good amount of damage to it. So I think I'll go for Drain Punch here, which if I'd gone for Dragon Tail anyway, I think I might have brought out Archeops, which would not have been a good thing for me. So as he goes Leaf Storm, it's not really, I don't want to waste my Charizard, because bringing him in would half his health right away, because I don't have any defog support. So I think I'm forced to sacrifice Scrafty here. So I'm going to go for a Drain Punch just in case. She does indeed go for a Leaf Storm, so now is it +3 or +4? I think my play here is to Mega Evolve and click Flame Charge. Just because I'm not sure if I outspeed. I don't think I do, Superior is quite fast. So it goes for Hidden Power. I just about take it. Starting at +1 speed, I'm essentially scarfed. Switching battery with the Archeops. And I think I would be faster, but I'm not. He goes for U-turn. Has to go into his Porygon. As I go Porygon 2, I'm going to. Yeah, I didn't really test the audio before I started, so the music's really nice and quiet now. So I'm gonna go for a Charge Beam here, just because I'm thinking about the end game being able to take out a Sableye. And it seems like in the sun his Heat Wave is boosted to a nice amount of damage. So I should be able to recover off more than he's doing to me, but he does get the burn, which is quite unfortunate. I'm just surprised he hasn't bloody missed it yet. No. I'll just check and see what Prism Armor does, because I'd completely forgotten. It's relevant because Porygon had obviously traced it, but I think here he goes for another Heat Wave. Yeah, so I recover up. Now that I've stalled out the sun, just gonna recover again, just letting that poison damage rack up. So it goes for Photon Geyser. That does a solid 46%, so I'm lucky I recovered. I think my best play here is just to recover until it dies, to be honest. Because I don't see him switching, and if he does, Spikes will take him out. So he goes for Photo Geyser again. Gets the crit on me, which is very unfortunate. It does seem like Archeops might be able to take me out. So I don't see Sableye coming in right now. So yeah, Archeops comes in. So I go for Charge Beam. I think I should have gone for Ice Beam. As you can see, Head Smash rather missed, which is huge, because as you'll be able to see, I'll be able to take the next Head Smash quite nicely. 20%. It seems like I might have been able to take it at 4, so maybe it's not so huge. Because he's not poisoned, I don't want to just. So he does get a crit again, 30%, and because he is twist, he's going to have to go for Head Smash again, so I'm going to recover again. And this is why I used to hate facing enemy Porygon 2s. It's just so bulky, unless you've got knockoff or toxic. Now luckily the burn does prevent me from being toxic. That's if this Sableye does carry toxic. But he's poisoned now, he's taking a bit of spike damage, which means he is on the timer. And thanks to that +2 from the Charge Beams earlier, thinking about the end game, Ice Beam is a nice solid 2-hit KO. And Sableye is of course slower than I am, so it's GG turn 1, or game 1 rather. As you'll see here, I got myself up to 1135, so it's not too bad. Yeah, just demonstrating here how I'd won 4 games prior. And I'd won 5 games prior and lost 3 games. So now I'm at 6-3, not too bad. But anyway, this will be the next game. Okay, so this is game number 2. The team my opponent has does seem quite troublesome, fairly bulky. That Magnezone looks like it might be a trouble, but I think I was most worried about the Gliscor, given my 3 Fire-type Pokemon. I feel like Mega Charizard Y would be able to do a good sizable chunk to it, but I've got to look out for that Tyranitar. I don't have Focus Blast. I think even with Focus Blast it should be able to live on with the sand. I'm not too worried about Tangrowth. So I've got three fire types. Scottopede should be able to put on a timer a bit later on the line. And Scrafty should be able to take any hit that it wants to give. Porygon 2 here. Seems like you'd be able to one-on-one, or 1v1 Gliscor rather. But I think my best thing would just be to go Scrafty expecting that Tyranitar. Now, I'm thinking that he's going to want to set up rocks, but he's not going to want to stay in Restless Crafty, so I'll go for a bulk up. As that proves not to be a very good play. Fair was obviously the best switcher for a Scrafty, or at the very least for his stabs. Can't affect it with Dragon Tail, of course, so he's probably going to go for a Calm Mind and go straight for Moonblast. Okay. So I go into my Scolipede and click Infestation, just so that he or anyone else doesn't swap out. And he starts going for Calm Mind, which is perfect for me, because that gives me a perfect opportunity to start setting up my spikes. As you can see by my mouse cursor, I'm kind of deliberating which to go for. Let me see, 4 of the 6 Pokemon are grounded, and of course weak to poison, well, affected by the poison. So I'll go for 1 layer of Toxic Spikes for now. And my next play is to go for Spikes. See, he can't swap, so he's either going to keep going for Boost or attack me again. So he goes for a Thunder and misses. Now I'm pretty sure that would have taken me out, but I don't want to swap anything into a +2 Thunder. I think, as mentioned in the team preview, I think Clefable is 2-shot by Darmanitan, but Darmanitan won't be able to take a +2 Thunder, I don't think. But anyway, this Scolipede here, I'm just checking to see how much the Thunder would have done. And does confirm 63 to 74% on that basic set, and I'm quite low on health, so that would take me up. This is where I'm obviously deliberating whether or not to switch. I think in the end I choose not to switch and go for Endeavour. For some reason thinking I was lower than I was, because he does get the other Calm Mind. Now I'm expecting a soft board here. It's not just going to let me revenge go so easy. So I think I'll go for Spikes again. And he's still affected by Infestation, so he can't swap. So I think Spikes is my best play. Yeah, so as you can see, he went for soft board. I'm going to click Endeavour again, which in retrospect isn't the best play. It does force him to keep going for soft board, but Endeavour doesn't really have much HP. And now that it's got me this low, I'm going to go for Endeavour again. I think he might go for the soft board again, as you can see. I'm not going to narrate this bit, it's just going to be a bit of back and forth trying to outplay each other's plays. As you can see, I swapped into Darmanitan, and even at +3 I was able to tank a nice Moonblast. This Flare Blitz should ensure a double down, as you can see. So I'm going to pop back out into, I think I'll go back out into Scolipede. But I was expecting that he'd go into Tyranitar or maybe Greninja, expecting to get a nice free Battle Bond. So I'm going to go into Talonflame here. I am at 100%. I decided to go for Will-O-Wisp rather than the attack. So it does go for Defog, but thanks to the burn, I'm he's unable to heal off any damage with Toxic Kill. I go for a Supersonic Sky Strike, which does a solid 59%. And as you can see here, there's not really much I can do against this Glasgow, because Talonflame isn't exactly the strongest Pokemon. Then the only reason it was so overpowered before was because its ability was just broken. Constant access to +1 flying type attacks is pretty insane. So I'm just going to keep going for Flare Blitz until I get taken down. At least that was the plan. Now, Poison's going to take me down anyway, so I'm thinking he's going to switch or go for Roost. There's less to lose, I think, by going Will-O-Wisp. So I'm going to go for the Will-O-Wisp here, expecting his Tyranitar to come in. Which I think, yeah, that's exactly what he did. Which is perfect. So I'm going to go down to the combination of Toxic and Sandstorm anyway. Which is perfect. I've weakened his Tyranitar. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go for Scolipede. I think. No, I'm going to go for Scrafty because I am going to force him out. So I'm going to go for the Bulk Up. And he will probably go into his Gliscor. Now he goes into Tangrowth. Now I'm expecting a knockoff at this point, but I'm only leftovers. It's not like I'm a Assault Vest or anything. As he goes for Giga Drain, which does 20%, so not too bad. So I'm thinking to myself, I'll go for another Bulk Up. No, if he switches, it's still a free turn. If he goes into Gliscor, it's not too bad. I can Dragon Tail him up. So Giga Drain getting that consistent damage. I don't know if he specs without investment or just Assault Vest. In my opinion, it would have been better to go for Sludge Bomb because you could get the poison. But I'm just going to go for Drain Punch again here, expecting him to switch. As he takes not quite enough to go down, even including the burn. Now I went for Dragon Tail here, expecting him to roost as he goes for Toxic. And as you can see there, I get the first Shed Skin, which is almost unheard of for, you know, the hero of the video, in a sense. Goes into his Greninja. This Scrafty here was kind of put here specifically for Greninja and Hydreigon. So this is perfect. I'm thinking to myself, he's probably going to go for Hydro Pump. If he's Battle Bonds, then Drain Punch should be able to take him out of one hit. And luckily for me, he does miss the Hydro Pump, which is unfortunate. Yeah, he'd already missed. I'd already got the Shed Skin, and I think he might have missed something a bit earlier. So he does forfeit. There's not really anything he can do against this Scrafty. So I'm up to 1161, which, you know, respectable. Still very low ladder. Even on normal ladder, I think the highest I've ever climbed is 1480 or something like that. And then I ended up not playing Pokemon Showdown for about a week due to full tilt. So I didn't even decay, I just lost about 6 times in a row, put me back down to about 1280. Which I was not very happy about. This team here seems rather, you know, rather balanced. You've got the semi-offense, you've got Scizor, you've got Garchomp. I'm expecting lead Garchomp or lead Rotom. You know, and the team that's got Garchomp, you don't really see lead Excadrill. So I'm expecting the Garchomp at this point, at the very least, as I am post communicating it after. I'm thinking Garchomp. So I think my best bet here would just be go straight into Scolipede. You know, he'll take rocks. I'll be able to set whatever up. I might have even led Talonflame because I might be able to get the priority Zoom. Sorry, this takes long. As I said, I was kind of narrating it live, and I just didn't have the microphone plugged in. I should have seen that there was no big red light, but it's unfortunate. Yeah, so I do end up leading Scolipede. He does go for Rotom, which makes me think that he's going to go for Volt Switch here. And if he goes for Hydro Pump, you know, I've got a Focus Sash, that's perfect. So I go for Spikes because the only things affected by Toxic Spikes are Garchomp, Blacephalon, and Chansey, and Blacephalon there, which I did not expect to see come out. My Focus Sash has of course been broken, but because I've got Talonflame in the back, and no rocks have gone up, I'm just going to nuke him next turn. So this turn, I think I'm going to go for another layer of Spikes, because Poison on Chansey doesn't really matter too much, it just has to swap due to Natural Cure. Natural Cure. So yeah, I click Spikes again, as it does take me out with Shadow Ball. I'm expecting him to be Choice Scarf, as most Blacephalon are, and I'm not going to take any chances, I'm going to go straight for my Z move. It would have been great to have been scarfed and used me first, but Talonflame's special attack isn't exactly great, especially without investment. So let's have London stand a single chance there. And I think his best switching would probably be the Rotom again. Yeah. Now, I can't remember if you Volt Switched or Hydro Pumped. I don't think there's any drawbacks to using Volt Switch right now, because I'm not really going to be able to do too much. So I'm going to go for Will-O-Wisp. I was toying with the idea of going for me first, you know, just as a just a bit of fun. But if he did go for Volt Switch, well, if he went for Hydro Pump, that would have been useless to me. And if I went for Volt Switch, I'd have had to swap into something to take a Volt Switch. So, yeah, so here I go to Scrafty. Very specially defensive, go for Bulk Up here. As Hydro Pump only does 28% damage, which is pretty insane. Now, I don't think it's an all-out offensive Rotom. So it had the